Right now, we are in one of the best possible windows for you to go out there and make some Dynasty trades to try and win your leagues. After 2 weeks of the NFL season, we have some evidence to show us what the picture is going to look like, but after just 2 weeks, we have too small of a data set to really be able to make some proper conclusions. If you can make some trades based off a limited data set that either show that you are looking at the right data and working things into your advantage, or that your league mates are looking into the wrong data, which is normally just fantasy points as a whole, being judged as to how a player is going to perform over the rest of the season, you can take advantage of that. The other crucial factor here is emotion. Players right now will be looking at the players that haven't performed for them so far and really getting annoyed at the fact that they are now 0-2. That gives you a window of opportunity to make some emotional trades and prey on that feeling of disappointment. You need to be looking out in your leagues and targeting the managers who are 0-2 and making sure that you can get some players off them while they panic. If you like content like this, please consider liking and subscribing. In this video, I'm going to be giving you a few players that you need to be targeting to make some great moves while the rest of your league is busy panicking. But the first player that I want to talk about is actually not one player at all, but a group of players, and that is the day 1 and 2 rookie running backs, namely Ashton Jeanty, Amari Hampton, Quinshad Judkins, Travion Henderson, and RJ Harvey. Now, it was assumed that it was going to be a generational running back class this year just gone, and it has been quite disappointing so far. If you look at the current performance, all of them have disappointed. And yes, Ashton Jeanty is still in the top 30 running backs, and Travion Henderson is actually currently at running back 33 in PPR, which is fine. You have Ja'Cory Crosky-Merritt sitting up there as well, Cam Scatterbo, Bashal Tootin not doing too badly. It's been quite disappointing for Harvey, particularly for Hampton, and Caleb Johnson as well, who I actually forgot to mention in the list of names. But Caleb Johnson particularly is a big worry right now. My big thing is that we have more evidence from seeing them as prospects than we do from seeing them in the NFL. So if you thought they were elite coming into the NFL, you need to be going and making moves to them now while Dynasty managers are panicking. A lot of the time when we play Dynasty, we will completely reject the evidence of our scouting, of our prospect scouting, the moment that a player hits the NFL and immediately go, do you know what? No, that didn't work. It is 2 weeks into the season, and there is still so much time for these rookies to develop, to break out, to get used to playing in the NFL and not being the most dominant player on the pitch whenever they step onto it. I took a look at some of the rookie performances over the last couple of years, and I'm going to throw up the tweet in front of you now so that you can take a look. But basically what I wanted to do when I looked at this was show you that the first couple of weeks are not always indicative of the future performance of a rookie running back, particularly if you start to look and go back towards players like Jonathan Taylor and Miles Sanders a few years ago, or even when it was DeAndre Swift and J.K. Dobbins really breaking out towards the end of the year. This is a really important factor to remember. We used to be patient with rookies. We used to be quite happy taking time with them and letting them develop. But now, because we have had such breakout rookie stars in the past few years, we are looking for them to overperform the moment they touch the field. In terms of the rookie running backs, I would be perfectly happy making a move for, and actively think you should. If you can make a move for Ashton Jeanty, Travion Henderson, Quinshad Judkins, I would be very keen on this. RJ Harvey probably next, and then the panic meter is starting to hit in a little bit for Amari Hampton and Caleb Johnson. Hampton just due to that lack of lateral agility that we did see in college, which is causing a bit of a problem, and Caleb Johnson because he's just not seeing the field anytime soon. If you own Caleb Johnson, you need to be holding. But if you can go out and make an offer for like a late 2 or even an early 3 as a manager is panicking, that is a great deal for you to be making right now. The next player that I wanted to talk about is Drake London. Now, Drake London has been incredibly disappointing so far this season, currently sitting as the wide receiver 45 with a really disappointing first couple of weeks. The Falcons' offense has just not been clicking so far, and it's been quite disappointing to see. Their running game is working pretty well with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier, but the passing game is just not quite working at the time of asking. But crucially, Drake London, we have so much evidence of him being the alpha in this offense. It is going to depend on whether or not Michael Penix is the guy as to whether or not he can turn things around. But after just 2 weeks, we should not be panicking yet about a wide receiver who I'm confident is elite at this level. Through 2 weeks of the season, he has a 30% target share, which is absolutely elite and the kind of numbers that we would be looking for. One of the problems is that the average depth of target has been significantly lower than it was last season, currently sitting at around the 8.6 mark, whereas last season it was higher, well into the teens. If the ADOT is to improve and we see Michael Penix pushing the ball down the field like we did in his debut towards the end of last season, Drake London will have a great ability to break out down the stretch. But if Dynasty managers are panicking right now because he's not performed through 2 weeks, that is a great window of opportunity for you to go and try and make a move. The next player that I think you should be going to target is T. Higgins, and this is a really interesting one. Obviously, we've just had confirmation of Joe Burrow's injury being moved to IR and probably missing the whole of the season, so it's going to be the Jake Browning offense going forwards. And actually, Jake Browning is a really interesting player because despite not being one of the elite backups in the league who are maybe challenging for the starting role, he's actually been really solid whenever he's seen the field. And back in 2023, he played really well. His 17-game pace was over 4,200 yards and over 20 passing touchdowns. So I'm not too worried about Higgins and Chase taking a massive step back. I'm worried about them not having the same ceiling that they used to. But when you take a look at their points per game from their time with Jake Browning, it's actually T. Higgins that had the higher performance. In 2023, in that stretch with Jake Browning, Jamar Chase's 17-game pace would have been the wide receiver 31 in points per game. T. Higgins was the wide receiver 25 at that time. Now, this is a great window to go and exploit short-term injuries for long-term dynasty success, and this is a really important factor that you should be doing as often as possible. T. Higgins is maybe not a buy right now on a contending team, but if you think you wanted to make a move for the future or just to improve your team, he's definitely someone that I would be taking a look at. Dynasty managers are going to be panicking because Joe Burrow is out and trying to make a move, but actually what they are doing is selling at the lowest possible point. That means it's worth you inquiring and seeing if you can make an upgrade based off that limited time window. And that's something I'm going to come back to in the final trades that I have for you, and they are for huge players. But if you're enjoying this video, please consider liking and subscribing. It makes a huge difference to the future of the channel, and there's so much more content coming your way, so click that button and get involved. Brandon Aiyuk is someone that I think you need to be buying in Dynasty leagues. The best time to buy him was this offseason. The second time to buy him is right damn now. Brandon Aiyuk is clearly the wide receiver 1 in this offense and has shown an ability to beat man coverage, which is way beyond Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, or any of the other options on this team. At the wide receiver position, he is clearly the most talented, both in terms of beating man coverage and stretching the field. Aiyuk is obviously currently on PUP and therefore unlikely to play for the next few weeks, maybe looking at a targeted return of around week 6 or 7. If you can shoulder the fact that he's not going to be starting games for a while, there is a fantastic buy window for a player who I think is tremendously talented and clearly the wide receiver 1 in what we think should be a fantastic offense, especially when Brock Purdy's back. Also, George Kittle's injury, if he's still injured when Aiyuk comes back, presents a great opportunity for him to be a league winner down the stretch. I think Aiyuk is vastly more talented than people think he is, and I consistently see him being ranked in the mid-wide receiver 40s in Dynasty leagues. For me, I have him just outside the top 24, and I think that's where he belongs. He is produced whenever he's on the field, and I think he is so much more talented than he's being given credit for. So go and take him off people's IR slots and bang him onto yours. The last trades that I want to talk about, and these are big ones, is right now, see if you can inquire for Ja'Marr Chase or Justin Jefferson. People start to treat Dynasty leagues like redraft leagues once it gets into the season and panic about their players not being able to produce. For these two players, obviously, Ja'Marr Chase will be playing with Jake Browning the rest of the season, and Justin Jefferson has just lost JJ McCarthy for a few weeks, but also, even with JJ McCarthy, it wasn't fantastic. Ja'Marr Chase and Justin Jefferson are the most valuable non-quarterback assets in Dynasty. That is not up for debate, and it may be that someone like Malik Neighbors or Puka Nacua, even CeeDee Lamb, can break into that top tier and join them as some of the most valuable assets, but they are going to be the best wide receivers in the league for a long time. Anytime there is even the smallest buy window on players of that caliber, you need to be inquiring. See if you can make an offer for them, see if a Dynasty manager is panicking, and see if you can buy two of the best assets to have in Dynasty. The moment that door is slightly open, you've got to try and get your way in.